Members of the Board of Education, Mr. Jones, faculty, parents, grandparents, family members, friends, and of course, members of the North Farmington High School graduating class of 2000. It is my pleasure and my honor to welcome everyone to this annual commencement ceremony. I'm also privileged to have the opportunity to introduce some important people and to say thank you, and thank you to everyone who has played a role in getting all of you here today. The contributions that are made by the people represented in this arena are extraordinary. And it is those contributions that suggest my theme for today, and that is a theme that's articulated beautifully in Shel Silverstein's marvelous 40-year-old book, The Giving Tree. As we go through today's program, you will hear comments from individuals who represent those who have given you important gifts. You'll hear from Board President Priscilla Briette, who will articulate an important message from the community. You'll hear from your principal, Rick Jones, who will reflect on your 4 years in high school and the contributions made by everyone involved with the North Farmington High School community. You'll hear important comments from a distinguished graduate of North Farmington, Ms. Pam Dauber. And finally, you'll hear from one of your fellow students, Class President Jim Gabriel, who will bring a personal perspective about relationships and accomplishments. Today, I remember and I remind you that you did not get here alone. Your successes so far and your potential for future success are the result of important gifts that you have received. The gifts have come from parents, grandparents, friends, members of the community, the Board of Education, and all of those educators you've worked with for the past 13 years. All of these givers of gifts will help deliver a message concerning the importance of loyalty, mutual commitment, and generosity, a message that is the heart of Shel Silverstein's Giving Tree. Joining us for today's celebration are the members of the Board of Education of the Farmington Schools. These are men and women who have been selected by the community to carry forth a noble and wonderful educational tradition. They have made it their business to make sure that each and every one of our students achieves the maximum of his or her potential. They are indeed trustees for the public good, and I always refer to them as the best Board of Education in the state of Michigan. I'm going to introduce each and ask them to stand. Please hold your applause till all are introduced. First, Board President Priscilla Briette, Vice President Frank Reed, Secretary Bobby Feldman, Treasurer R. Jack Inch, Trustee Linda Enberg, Trustee Gary Sharp, and Trustee Kathleen Webb. Now, please join me in thanking them. You're also here today because of the contributions of the 1,700 men and women who work for the Farmington Schools, the faculty and staff. Throughout your years in our school district, you've been taught and guided by teachers, administrators, and support staff who are truly outstanding. Since arriving at North Farmington 4 years ago, you've worked with a wonderful group of teachers, counselors, and support people. Many of these individuals are here today as a tribute to you, the class of 2000. I'd like them to stand and also be recognized. Also important to your success have been the contributions of a talented and energetic and enthusiastic administrative team. They've been there as your cheerleaders, your motivators, and sometimes as your constructive critics. They've shared your excitements, your joys, your disappointments, your successes, and your failures as you've participated in that incredible range of activities that make up high school life. Now, I'd like you to join me and again hold your applause in recognizing Principal Mr. Rick Jones, Assistant Principals Dr. Ron Jones and Mrs. Linda Fox, and your senior class sponsors, Krista Newcomb and David Finney. Please join me in thanking them. Yes, the Board of Education, the faculty, and the administration have given you a gift by helping you grow personally and academically through your school years. And yet, the most important gifts you've received have been from your parents and all those other family members who have played a very important role in your life. Since September 1st, 1987, a hot, sticky day when you began kindergarten, You had mom or dad there, or one of your grandparents taking you to that first day, that first scary half day of kindergarten. And every day since, in fact, for 2,353 days since, your family has been there to offer you support in a number of ways. As you think back over those more than 2,000 days since you started kindergarten, your family has in a very real way given you the gifts which are the greatest gifts you'll ever receive. Perhaps it was the gift of your mother's undivided attention when she spent all kinds of time fussing over a great project, even though she had a million other things in her mind. Perhaps it was Dad when he cheered you on and congratulated you, even though you lost the game. Perhaps it was the gift of self-esteem you got when you were congratulated for your good work. Perhaps it was the gift of independence you got when they trusted you with the car keys. Perhaps it was the gift of just simply responsibility that they gave you when they helped you start making your own decisions. It is indeed such an immeasurable gift that you have received that we hope that that's a gift you will keep giving to others in the very same way. All of these gifts that you've received from everybody were given out of love, and were given out of a desire to help you step into the 21st century. Yes, the gifts from all those represented here are important, but they don't end here. They are gifts that will continue to shape you for the rest of your lives. We figured out that you will, for most of you, go to college and work for 42 years if you retire when you're 60. And if you do that, your alarm is going to ring 10,950 times, and that's if you don't set it on weekends. If you set it on weekends, it's going to ring more than 15,000 times. Since it appears that you've gotten to this important point in your life in pretty good shape already, I have no doubt that you'll respond to that alarm in a positive way. Making good use of the gifts you've received so far gets us back to Shel Silverstein and the Giving Tree. A brief summary of the book is in order. It's a story that begins, once there was a tree and she loved a little boy. Their relationship continues with the tree providing a place for the boy to play, continues with the tree providing the apples for the boy to sell to achieve some independence. It provides a place to take his first girlfriend. It continues by providing its branches to build his first house and giving up her trunk so he has a canoe to float off into retirement. Silverstein goes on toward the end by saying, "My branches are gone," said the tree. "You can't swing on them." "I'm too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You can't climb." "I'm too tired to climb," said the boy. "I'm sorry," sighed the tree. "I wish I could give you something, but I have nothing left. I'm just an old stump. I am sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy, "just a quiet place to sit and rest. I am very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself out as much as she could, "well, an old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, sit down and rest." And the boy did, and the tree was happy. On the surface, this would appear to be a rather one-sided story, but in fact, it's a story of mutual commitment and a story of the vital balance between giving and receiving. As we all go through life, there are times when we need to be the boy and times when we need to be the tree. I hope that on those more than 10,000 mornings when the alarm rings, that you get up understanding that a good life is all about relationships which involve giving and receiving gifts. As I close, it's important and it's apparent that you have grown and thrived as a result of the gifts given by everyone represented here. However, this is a time to remember that you have gifts to give. In fact, you've already given gifts through the relationships you've established, the accomplishments you've achieved, and just by being yourselves. As we leave here today, I hope you, like the boy as an old man, will go back to the tree that nurtured you and remember what really counts. Come, boy, sit down and rest. And the boy did, and the tree was happy. On behalf of everyone who's been a part of these 2,353 days since you began school in Farmington, I thank you. I thank you for using the gifts and for the gift you've already given in return. We wish you the very, very best. Congratulations, class of 2000. And now it is my pleasure to introduce your senior class president, Jim Gabriel.
Dr. Maxfield, Board of Education, family, friends, classmates, and our faculty, it is an honor to be here today to address you. For most generations, there's an event that marks the collective memory for the rest of your lives. While our grandparents recall Pearl Harbor, our parents may recall exactly where they were and what they were doing when they heard the news that President Kennedy was shot. Unfortunately, school violence clearly marks our generation, and the incident that took place in Columbine High in Littleton, Colorado, April 20th of 1999, is an event that we will never forget. It seems that in the news today, all we hear are the faults of our generation. I can't say that I have all the answers, but I know there are some things we can do. The problem, I believe, starts and ends with us. Those two students from Columbine were outcasts and constantly made fun of. The sad truth about the tragedy is that it could have happened anywhere, possibly even here. It's easy to look around and say, oh, that wouldn't happen, not to us. But that's what the students said at Columbine. It was one of the bloodiest episodes in U.S. history, and one of a dozen shootings from Bethel, Alaska to Conyers, Georgia, during an 18-month period. The shootings aroused concerns about school safety and gun control, fears that are still very real for many Americans a year later. Just days before the one-year anniversary of the Columbine shooting, a Wall Street Journal NBC News poll found that 70% of Americans believe such a shooting could occur at a school in their own community. Honestly, we've all made fun of somebody, sometime, but toward the end of the year, it seems as though we're all being nicer to each other. Probably because we realized that we will soon be heading in our own directions and may never see people again. If we only had that attitude from the beginning of high school instead of the end. But for us, today, there's a cause to celebrate the fact that we have not been faced with the violence that other schools have. However, in the midst of our achievements, we must remember these tragedies. The effects of Columbine will continue to shadow our generation for years to come. Now is it up to us, class of 2000, to respond to the incident that happened at Columbine and set an example for the rest of the school. North has a great reputation and has many programs to make students feel welcome and under control. We have 9th grade transition, peer mediation, and the responsibility room. There are many programs that keep kids involved at school also, such as multicultural club, athletics, instrumental and vocal music, plus the musicals. As Mr. Jones has said, our enthusiasm, our pride, and our decency will impact North more than any other group. And it will take our motivation, our energy, and our willingness to keep going through the years to come. After Pearl Harbor, our grandparents' generation made great sacrifices during World War II to maintain a way of life, and made more commitments afterward to forever change our way of life. Their response to Pearl Harbor set a tone and an example for coming generations. Our parents' generation responded to the Kennedy tragedy and was inspired by the idealism and legacy of Camelot. Our parents became most educated and politically involved generation in history. And now it is our generation's turn to respond to Columbine and make changes for the next generation. So far, we have done well, and our basic goodness and decency set a tone from the start about who we are and what we are about. Class of 2000, I give my congratulations, good luck, and farewell. ATL.
Thank you, Jim. I can only hope that the rest of us can be half as eloquent as that. Dr. Maxfield, Board of Education, Board President, distinguished alumni recipient, faculty, families, and friends. I'm Rick Jones, Principal at North Farmington, and it is my distinct pleasure and honor to present the North Farmington High School graduating class of 2000. To you, the graduates, please know this is one of the largest displays of faculty support for a graduating class ever. at North Farmington. And as they pay tribute to you today, I know that you are aware of the history they represent, the knowledge they incorporate, and the visions they embrace. And I know you will join me in wishing Godspeed to our 3 retiring staff members, Marge Powell in English, Jack Ritz in math, and Bob Winters in science. How deeply we appreciate the sacrifices of time and energy they have made, indeed, the entire staff has made, to help you be where you are today. To you, the graduates, please remember, in this audience are people who count you as the most amazing gift they have ever been given, your parents. And they are here, well armed with camera and Kleenex, recording yet another memory for the family photo album. Cherish these moments with them, for high school graduation is one of the few steps you will take in life that is accompanied by a big party full of people telling you how wonderful you are. To you, the graduates, how good it must feel to be here at last, to be done at last, to have passed at last, to have survived and thrived, to have endured and prevailed. We are here today with both grateful hearts and heavy hearts, recognizing that the doors that once swung to let you in shall now swing again to let you out. But we hope that leaving is not without feeling, that each of you will recognize you have been special to us, and that you as a graduate now stand in an important new relationship to North Farmington High School. We feel that if what you learned here has given you wider intellectual interests and broadened your powers of understanding, that the school will have fulfilled part of its duty. And if in the process, character has become your possession and a part of your person, we are satisfied with our investment in people and programs. We trust that you have learned to approach problems with open minds, to set aside prejudice in your judgment of people and events, and stand ready to strive for all that is good and right. Meanwhile, your honor is North Farmington's honor. In your acts and deeds, you now reflect your heritage in this place. To those you meet in the years ahead, North Farmington will be measured by your character, by your actions, by the company you keep. It is in that spirit that we call upon you to be true to the larger things in life, to be men and women of courage, integrity, sympathy, and gentleness. Before we certify the class of 2000 ready to graduate, there is one final recognition of tremendous importance to this class and the entire North Farmington community. One of our seniors, Dan Freeman, has been named a White House Commission Presidential Scholar. Dan, who will be attending Yale University in the fall, is the first and only North Farmington student in the nearly 40-year history of the school, indeed the only student in the history of the Farmington Public Schools to receive this honor. Traditionally, only 2 such scholars are recognized per year per state. Dan will be going to Washington, D.C. to participate in the week-long presidential classroom and to attend a reception at the White House. Mrs. Briette, members of the Board of Education, I certify that the members of the North Farmington High School class of 2000, sitting before you, have completed all the requirements of the Farmington Public Schools, its Board of Education, and they should be allowed to graduate today. And it's now my pleasure to introduce the best school board president in America, Ms. Priscilla Briette.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. 30 years ago tonight, I graduated from high school. There are parts of that important event I don't remember at all. I don't remember one word from any of the speeches. I do remember being happy I wasn't giving one. I remember who sat on my left, who was on my right, and feeling both sad and amazed that this was the last time everyone from my class would ever be in the same room. Platform shoes were in then too, and my big worry that night was that I would trip going across the stage. Your graduation marks a milestone in your life. It is a time to take stock of where you are today, June 4th, 2000, and to celebrate where you are right now, in this arena, surrounded by those who have loved and supported you probably throughout your whole life. Join me now in a public thank you to the parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, guardians, and foster parents who have been important in your lives. There are parents here today who are attending a high school graduation for the last time as their youngest child is graduating. We know you have mixed feelings at this juncture. We thank you for your service to your children and to this district. Would those parents whose youngest child is graduating please stand up and be recognized? You are seated with your fellow graduates and friends who have challenged you, competed with you, worked with you, and laughed with you. You are applauded by your teachers, administrators, and board members who have confidence that the knowledge you have gained and the education your diploma represents have prepared you to build a life in the world beyond high school. I'm sure there are several teachers who have been special to you. I hope you will take some time in the future to let them know how much you appreciate them. The class of 2000, I'll bet you've heard ever since you were in kindergarten that your graduation year was special. Unlike most classes whose commencement is important only to them, your graduation year has been a time for the whole nation to do some collective soul searching. As a country and a player on the world stage, all of us as Americans have used this change in the calendar to take stock of where we are. Not unlike the taking stock you have done this year, as you have prepared for graduation and chosen colleges and career paths, we as a nation have taken this landmark date as an occasion to look forward and back on past actions and future promise. We leave behind a century that held 2 world wars, a Great Depression, and saw the metamorphosis of America from an agrarian, isolationist nation to the superpower you have grown up in. We leave behind a century whose wars reflected a devastation and ferocity unparalleled in history, and turn now to a new century with its great promise of world peace. We began the last century content to travel by horse and buggy and the occasional bicycle, and ended believing that now, thanks to space travel, the sky isn't even the limit anymore. You are graduating in the midst of an unprecedented decade-long economic boom. All of the facts and figures and financial projections reinforce the view that you have a right to be optimistic about your future. Low unemployment, low inflation, and the shift to an economy fueled more by information than by sweat translate into opportunities for personal financial success, as well as greater worldwide prosperity. Jack Inch, who teaches college economics, told me it is difficult for today's students to really understand the concepts of recession and depression when neither have been part of their life experience. What a joy to all of us to realize that an economic downturn is something you've only read about in books. It is our fervent hope that the class of 2000 will only know war and depression through history books. There is, however, one potential stumbling block before you can claim the promising future that lies before you. That is the very human tendency to mistake wealth for riches. Your dreams, your values, and who and what you love will, more than any economic advantage, determine what you can become and ultimately what our world can become. What you value is, of course, shaped by what you know. In some areas of your life, you will be at a tremendous advantage simply because of the educational experiences you have had. By that, I'm thinking beyond classwork, even beyond the humanities and the arts, to life's lessons. I am sure that because you have received your education with friends of different races and cultures, you will place a higher value on shared understanding. Because you have come to know people of different backgrounds as individuals, you will have no patience with intolerance. Your ability to work with and treat people of all backgrounds with understanding may be your greatest strength as you build your future. A legacy one generation passes to the next is the enduring values that have shaped us. It is important for you to hear from us, not what we learned in school or what we remember from history, but what we have learned from the lessons of life. In the next few weeks, I hope you will take time to have a conversation with your parents and the adults you care about to learn what they value most. I'd like to fuel your conversation by sharing the lessons and values that shape my life. The first lesson is live every day as if it is your last. Save yourself a lot of regrets. Don't wait until tomorrow to tell someone you love them. Don't assume that anyone else will look after the people who are important to you. Expressing your love has no place on a to-do list. You can't afford not to do it. Lesson 2, cherish life. We all have just one chance to live life to its fullest, and how can we even consider squandering it in meaningless pursuits? I read somewhere, life is not a dress rehearsal. Act well your part. Lesson 3, if you marry, your spouse will have the most influence on you of anyone in your life. Make that decision very, very carefully. If you do decide to become a parent, work at that job harder than anything else in your life. The fourth lesson, vote. What makes our democracy work is you and me going to the polls and peacefully choosing who we want to represent us. If we give up our choice, it could cost us our freedom. Lesson 5, if we want to pass on to our children a country that is better than the one we inherited, we have to expand our circle of caring to include other people's children. As those of you who have participated in service learning will attest, the rewards for passing on the blessings are many and surprising. And finally, lesson 6, watch what you put in your body, watch what you put in your mind. The great American marketing machine would like to dictate what you value. It would like to dictate what you wear, what you eat, and what you love. Make those decisions yourself. Turn off the television. Shield your time from those who do not appreciate its worth. Spend it instead on ideas, people, and activities that will feed your soul. Protect the images you call unto yourself, because whether you are aware of it or not, you will reflect back into this world all that you receive. In the 30 years since I graduated, I have had many celebrations and joys to call upon, including being with you today. Life is a gift that changes based on how you use it. Use yours wisely. Live with intention. Thank you.
The Distinguished Alumni Award from the year 2000 forward will be given annually to a graduate of North Farmington High School whose characteristics of heart, mind, and conduct evince a spirit of love and helpfulness for others. The recipient of the first annual Distinguished Alumni Award, Pam Dauber, class of 1968, epitomizes this criteria. But before we extol her achievements and contributions, I would like to share a personal story. As many of you know, I'm a 1967 North Farmington graduate, was president of my class, and don't laugh, but voted most likely to succeed. And over the course of the past 30 years, while Pam starred in TV and movies, I always took great pleasure in telling colleagues and friends, I know Pam Dauber. She went to my high school. So you can imagine my excitement when the faculty committee submitted her name as the first recipient of this award. I couldn't wait to get on the phone to confirm her acceptance and reestablish our common Raider bond. For 30 years, I had known Pam, but after 30 seconds of conversation with her, it was readily apparent that she didn't remember me at all. How humbling. All the more reason for her to be recognized. Pam's acting career stretches from Broadway to Hollywood. She has starred in the #1 ranked TV series Mork and Mindy, produced and starred in another series, My Sister Sam, and has 14 made-for-TV movie specials, as well as numerous full-length feature films, playing opposite leading men like Kirk Douglas, Kenny Rogers, Beau Bridges, Patrick Duffy, John Ritter, and Robin Williams. Yet, for all of her stage and screen credits, her #1 leading men are husband, actor Mark Harmon, and their 2 sons, 12-year-old Sean and 8-year-old Ty. And for all of her stage and screen credits, her #1 goal, outside of her family, has been to use her name and influence to help others. Pam is the national spokesperson for Big Brothers and Big Sisters and has used her time and resources extensively in supporting that program in the Los Angeles area. Further, she is a tireless worker for the advancement of the arts in the Los Angeles area schools and is currently working on a team that is producing an educational music theater program to promote the arts in schools. Aside from that, she is known as the Book Lady to 3rd graders in an elementary school near her home for the regularity with which she goes into the classroom to share the gift of literacy. And her school volunteer efforts do not end there. She teaches art in her son's school, which has no full-time art teacher. It is my special honor and privilege to present the 1st annual North Farmington Distinguished Alumni Award to my fellow schoolmate, who you know as well as I do, from the class of 1968, a true North Star, the Book Lady, Miss Pam Dauber. Pam receives a framed medallion. We'll have a brick engraved in her honor in the new Raider Plaza. And Pam's parents are also here today to share in this special recognition. Mr. and Mrs. Dauber, please know that by honoring your daughter, we have brought honor to North Farmington High School.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, everybody. And I would like to acknowledge my parents. Will you please stand, Mom and Dad? Without their love and support, I probably would be standing up here before you today. You know, when I was invited to accept this award, my first inclination was to go, oh my God, I mean, didn't anybody look at my records? I mean, I was wallowing somewhere in the lower third of my class. If anybody was going to give me an award, it should have been for getting out of high school. I wasn't valedictorian. I was never a cheerleader or homecoming queen. But I will attest to being one of the very first city's marauders, and I did have a lot of fun at North. I have great, great memories. But I was most certainly not a student. I was one of those kids that didn't seem to grasp why I needed to know algebra or why anybody would want to take chemistry. And I knew there were more than a few of you out there. Now, as my friends were busy and excitedly preparing to go off to their colleges to State or Central or U of M or EMU, I actually remember standing in my parents' bathroom having a full-fledged anxiety attack because I didn't know what was going to happen to me. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I guess I was what you would call a late bloomer. And I'm sure there are a few of you out there as you nervously feel like you're being kicked out of the nest and walking forward in life. There was a teacher here at North at the time who became the catalyst of change in my lackluster high school career. His name was Mr. Hunt. Now, Mr. Hunt was the choir teacher. He was elderly, balding, slightly effeminate. He was the brunt of many high school jokes and snide remarks. And my 16-year-old brain was unable to recognize his kind soul and his large heart. One day, Mr. Hunt summoned me into his office. Now, I was always in the choir, but I wasn't in concert choir. I was always in the musicals, but usually as a dancer or a chorus person. He summoned me into his office, and he said, "Pam, I'm going to have to give you a D in choir because you have talked so much during the course of choir that you're going to get an F. I've had to give you so many Fs for the day, you're going to get a D in choir. But if you will consider auditioning for a lead in the musical, I'll give you a C." Well, I thought, what a cool deal. You must think I'm pretty good. So I agreed, and I auditioned. And of course, I think your musicals are important to all of you as they were to us because they were a really big deal. And we had our Celine Dion of the class of '68, her name was Mary Kay Burr, and nobody ever thought of auditioning because Mary Kay Burr always got all the roles. So I auditioned for a lead, and I got one of the leads in Kismet. And I was, starring opposite Mary Kay Burr. Now, it was a success. We got a standing ovation. I felt that I had excelled. And without knowing it at the time, realized my life had been channeled. And I got that C in choir. But did I throw myself at Mr. Hunt's feet and thank him from the bottom of my heart for channeling my life? Not at all. I just continued being my 17-year-old self, concerned with the important things in my life, like my hair, my clothes, and my zits, or if I could bag a date for the senior prom. Now, it wouldn't be until years later, after some maturity and success, that I would appreciate the great gift this one man gave to me. He was a teacher. He was a teacher who took notice of a problematic and unmotivated student who most teachers probably would have preferred to drop kick. He recognized that there was some potential talent there, and he went out of his way to deal with me privately, one-to-one, to challenge me to take personal responsibility to move forward on my own. Now, my realizing that he believed in me made me believe in myself, and therefore take the risk of moving forward to a largely successful end. Now, this man became one of my life teachers, and I wasn't the faintest bit aware of it at the time. But I really believe that's the way it is in life and with teachers, and not teachers in the most obvious sense. They come and go, and some are recognized and some are not. Many of their words will roll right out of your ears because maybe you're not ready to understand what they're trying to tell you at the time, or you have an inability to perceive or apply the message. But every now and then, something that someone said or did will reoccur to you, maybe years later, and you might understand it in a whole new way, causing us an enlightenment. Teachers and guides will come to you throughout your entire life. You never stop growing, hopefully. They'll come in many different forms. Sometimes it could be the neighbor down the street. It could be something you read in a magazine, hear on TV. It could be a positive experience, or it could come from a negative experience. But the trick is to keep yourself open to growth and opportunity so that you can recognize the message or the lesson when it comes your way. There's a great adage that I have come to believe in so strongly because it's happened so many times to me. It states, "When the student is ready, the teacher shall appear." So here I am, 30 years later, accepting the Distinguished Alumni Award. Well, go figure. Now, I've been racking my brain as to what to say, what words of wisdom I can pack into this little 5-minute speech that you could hold on to and replay as you begin the next phase of your excellent adventure. See, I'm standing up here because my life, I guess, thus far has been considered to be successful and out of the norm, and it has been. I have been really graced in this life, and I've had some incredible experiences. Because I didn't pursue formal education and I didn't do the 4-year of college thing, I had to self-motivate and pursue my interests by taking outside classes to better my understanding where I felt that I fell short. I found that whenever I put the energy into thoroughly investigating something I was trying to succeed at, I was always rewarded for the effort, either by a greater understanding of it or succeeding at it. But whenever I tried to slide by either my ego or by laziness or by fear, or if my intentions were unpure, the door would quite quickly swing shut. When I was about 20, after having a successful career locally here in Detroit, modeling and doing the auto shows, the window of opportunity opened and I found myself moving to New York City to be with a highly thought of modeling agency. To do and pursue exactly what, I wasn't sure, but I was just enthusiastically jumping into the deep end. Now, after a year and a half of living with 3 roommates, a lot of dirty dishes in a 1-room apartment, and walking every inch of that city with my little portfolio under my arm and winning an occasional job, I would dream of the key to happiness, the key to success. I thought, if only I could be on the cover of a magazine, if I could have $10,000 in my savings account, if I could have my own apartment, my life would be perfect. I would be happy. I'd be somebody. People would respect me and look up to me and think that I made it. I would be there. Well, pretty soon, I had my own apartment. I had way more than $10,000 in my savings account. I was in and on magazines. I was even modeling in Paris, which I had forgotten to put on my happiness list. And I was never more lost and empty and miserable in my entire life, because I was so busy standing outside myself, looking at all the accoutrements of my success, trying to make everything look so good, make myself look so interesting and smart and sophisticated, perfect, that I lost myself. I sold away small pieces in order to make a good show of it. I was living the fast life, trying to keep up with my own image of myself, looking for love in all the wrong places. It was the most painful and difficult period of my life, but ultimately, it was the most important. Because to get back on my feet, I had to reassess. Huge reassessment had to take place. I had to reevaluate my priorities and my values, and I had to reevaluate the meaning of happiness. With a lot of hard and painful self-exploration, with the help of a gifted psychologist, I might add, I got myself back on track. And I was ready and grounded when the enormity of the Mork and Mindy success came my way a few years later. So this is what I want to leave you with, my dear young friends. This is what I want to impart to you. If you believe that success is getting to the top of a particular mountain, what you will find there is a view of 1,000 more peaks just waiting and asking to be climbed. There is no there. It's the process that is the joy. So proceed. Take risks. Be brave. Be good to yourselves and good to each other. Find the core within you that is the best of you. Cherish it and nurture it. Preserve it. Look at the world from the inside out, not the outside in. Ponder the meaning of your being on this planet. Discover your gifts and loves. Question your intentions. It'll keep you on track. Travel, see the world to gain perspective of how lucky we are to be in this country. Keep an open mind and a gentle heart. Live with gratitude, and somehow, sometime, give back. And don't worry if you haven't understood half of what I've just said, because your lives will unfold, and the process will begin, and maybe something said here will reoccur to you later on to be understood in a whole new way. So go forward and be good humans. Thank you. Thank you.
And now, on behalf of the Board of Education and the entire Farmington School District, by the powers vested in me, I hereby declare the class of 2000 of North Farmington High School to be officially graduated.
Will the members of the class of 2000 please rise? The origins of the academic cap and gown that you today so proudly wear date back to the 12th century, almost 1,000 years. Since the reign of England's King Henry VIII, individuals that have completed a course of study, as you have completed yours at North Farmington High School, are entitled to wear an academic cap, which is known as a mortarboard, and a scholarly gown. Together, they indicate both accomplishment and transition. From the cap that you wear dangles a tassel. It is not intended as mere decoration, but it also has special significance and tradition. The tassel now hangs on the left side of your mortarboard. But to publicly affirm that you are prepared to receive your secondary diplomas, it is now necessary for you to move your tassel to the right side of your cap. Seniors, at this time, will you please transfer your tassel to the right? You may now be seated.
This is the day, this is the moment when I know I'm on my way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now today. This is the moment. This is the moment. This is the time when the momentum and the moment are in run. Give me this moment. This momentous moment. All of put my hand to. Everything I plan to. Everything planned to. Fulfill my grand design. See all my stars align. This is the moment. My final test. Destiny beckoned. I never reckoned second best. I won't go down. I must not fall. This is the moment, the sweetest moment of all. This is the
Good afternoon. We would like to sing our last song for you, titled One Small Voice. Throughout the year, we have performed this song because of the message it sends. Today, it describes the class of 2000. Individually, each graduate is just one small voice in a big world. But we can change the world. If we have the courage to let our one voice be heard, however insignificant it may seem, other voices will join us and sing our song. And together, our small voices will unite to create a huge sound. Each of us in the graduating class of 2000 has, as the song says, one small voice that can teach the world a song. Together, we will teach the world.
One small voice can teach the world a song. Start with one small voice till another joins along. And you feel the music flowing full and sure and strong. One small voice can teach the world a song.
Every song the world sings, each was once unknown. Somebody felt a song inside and wasn't afraid to sing alone. If you feel the music, and you sing it clear and true, then the world can sing with you. One small
Will the senior class please prepare for the roll call? Senior class president, James Gabriel. Senior class vice president, Brian Waffa. Senior class secretary, Meredith Riley. Senior class treasurer, Carly Siskin. Linda Abro. Jennifer Ackrich. Richard Adams. Brandon Adina. Matthew Adler. Jenna Augusta. Julie Allen. Stephanie Allen. Mark Alperin. Pranathi Amarwai. Brett Anshill. Sarah Armstrong. Tennille Asmar. Lindsay Austin. Edward Azar. Susan Bartus. Jamie Buffman. Anthony Beal. Laura Bean. Nitsan Bengal. Bridget Bender. Risa Binkoff. Lindsay Berbiglia. Lisa Barenholtz. Alana Berlin Herman. Patricia Berry. Nina Bianchi. Jessica Bigelman. David Bodson. Brent Bortman. Brian Bortman. Christina Bosentan. Adrian Bridges. Scott Brills. Katie Brown. Brian Buell. Sharice Carter. Adam Cassini. Alan Chen. Hi, Deb. Debbie Chen. Esther Choi. Trevor Clark. Christopher Clayson. Dana Clemens. William Cobbs. Carrie Cohen. Samantha Cohen. Jessica Coleman. Stephen Colquitt. Jacqueline Cotreau. Sarah Cullens. Kelly Dempsey. John Jokai. Kelly Downey. Brady Dwyer. Allison Edwards. David Ehrlich. Stephanie Elson. Christopher Erickson. Pedram Farnia. Michael Falk. Katie Feldman. David Feynman. Lindsay Fink. Meredith Fleming. Robin Floutier. Gregory Fox. Anne Frank. Heidi Frank. Daniel Freeman. Michelle Gabriel. Annette Gada. Jennifer Galbraith. Evan Garelick. Nasha Giara. Andrew Golashevsky. Jillian Gold. Jared Goldman. Jared Gorback. Louise Gore. Paula Graff. Ajit Paul Grewal. I want to make special note of this student. Tara Greider is the only student in the senior class with perfect attendance from kindergarten through 12th grade. Edward Grossi. Rima Gutman. Emily Hallberg. Ryan Hale. Christina Hanna. Shannon Harney. David Harris. Jamie Harris. Whitney Hawkins. Sean Head. Alana Hirschen. Adam Henderson. Kathleen Holmes. Gretchen Holtz Pitluck. Brian Haar. Aaron Hughes. Sean Jackson. Rocky Jarbo. Rhonda Jarbo. Stacy Jarbo. Eric Johnson. Mary Johnson. Nicholas Johnson. Jordan Johnston. Michael Jonah. David Kazmarek. Catherine Kairunas. Paul Kamer. Kelly Karakashian. Nowar Carmo. Lisa Cachette. Brandon Kassab. Marlo Kashamoon. Rachel Kasubowski. Arvin Kashuhanan. Isaac Kaufman. Christy Keenan. Nathaniel Keenan. John Kern. Robert Kerwin. Allison Kibler. Jeffrey Kingsbury. Jessica Kerma. Robert Clegan. Melissa Klein. Brian Krieger. Tali Kreitzer. Robert Krockmal. Teresi Krockmal. Jarrett Cruz. Brian Kuhn. Angela LaBerge. Brian Lafer. Yazid Lala. Patricia Land. Joseph Landis. Leah Lapat. Stephen Paul Lapid. Seth Larson.
Julie Lefton. Evan Lipan. Jonathan Lenz. Zachary Lesway. Jeffrey Lev. Carrie Levin. Julie Levin. Amit Levran. Michael Levy. Ryan Lewis. Miriam Lieberman. Craig Lipson. Michael Livernoy. Tierra Logan. Ryan Long. Jessica Lacia. Lorne Lubin. Zachary Mall. Julie Maltzman. Rena Mansour. Rena Mary. Kevin Masters. Brian McClary. Kelly McEwen. Logan McLean. Amir Madunyanin. Manas Mahendru. Kyle Medier. David Mikolov. Michael Millett. David Miller. Andrew Mall. Robert Mooney. Sharice Muldrew. Raymond Naglick. Amy Newman. Richard Norsigian. Laura Osteen. Jonathan Panish. Ross Patterson. Elizabeth Pierce. Todd Pinella. Igor Petrovsky. Eric Phillips. Stephen Plunkett. Daniel Pollock. Catherine Powell. Michael Primo. Amy Prout. Kathleen Purcell. Joseph Karana. Reem Karana. Sheila Rajdev. Alana Rappaport. Shivani Raval. Melissa Rayom. Kelly Redman. Christy Reinhardt. Crystal Richardson. Stephanie Richmond. Adam Reamer. Daniel Robin. Christy Ramaya. Stephanie Rosen. Jared Rothberger. Jenna Rolson. Julia Solomon. Robert Salter. Bradley Shanker. Catherine Schertel. Stephen Schlaff. Stephen Schulist. Shreya Shah. Alexander Shalal. Vanessa Shamus. Stephen Shamoon. Benjamin Shapiro. Brian A. Shapiro. Brian M. Shapiro. Rachel Sherman. Stacy Schild. Nicholas Schindel. Brian Schulman. Daniel Schumer. Joni Shania. Sean Shunia. Joshua Sikora. Mindy Silberman. Tony Simons. Lauren Siriani. Vincent Sittu. Todd Skoransky. Marissa Sloan. Stuart Solomon. Jeffrey Sunny. Rachel Soper. Allison Spalter. Christopher Spencer. Derek Spicer. Charles Stambulian. Jacqueline Stein. Holly Stockton. Jeffrey Strite. Brian Sturman. Jeffrey Swinger. Julie Slumkowitz. Ryan Tapper. Jacqueline Tate. Nicole Taylor. Courtney Terrian. Alana Thompson. Ryan Thompson. Jennifer Timpner. Jessica Topper. Lauren Turner. Brianne Ulowitz. Kara Veralone. Jordan Vetter. Jonathan Vincent. Daniel Weckstein. Matthew Winehouse. Eric Weiss. Haley Weiss. Emily Witten. Matthew Wiegand. Nathaniel Williams. Ohad Wilner. Jacob Winston Gallant. Eric Weisenberg. Katie Wolk. Caroline Womack. Jessica Wood. Joshua Wool. Irene Yasenitskaya. Daniel Yashinsky. Gabriel Yashinsky. Leanna Yatuma. Alexandra Young. Candace Youssef. Valerie Zager. Sophia Zahur. Jonathan Zald. Emily Zanatti. Sarah Zickerman. Will the senior class of 2000 please prepare for the recessional?